Joe Gibbs won't let Christopher Bell race on dirt. Red Bull and Ford look like they're close to an engine deal for F1, and the NASCAR teams look like they're leaning toward keeping the charters. Let's get into it. Coming up next. What is going on? Hope everybody is doing good today. All right, let's get into it. The teams, according to Adam Stern and Austin Konisicki, seem to be leaning toward keeping the charters. Let's see what he had to say about that. This from Austin Konisicki at the Sportsnaut. According to Business Journal's Adam Stern, the organizations within the sport are looking to make the charter system permanent. The current deal expires at the conclusion of 2024 season. As of late 2022, the asking price of acquiring one of the 36 charters was around $30 million. There have been 0 charter transactions during the 2022 offseason due to very high demand price. He goes on to quote Steve Phelps, "We have people out there that want to get charters who are both in the sport and outside of the sport that can't get them right now because the teams are holding them. That's their right, whether they want that to happen, whether we want that to happen or not. There's nothing we can do about that. To answer your question fully, I do think we'll extend the charters. I do. Do I think it's a good thing for the sport? I do." All right, so a few things to unpack there. First off, the teams seem to see value in the charter system. A lot of the fans don't like the charter system because it makes qualifying irrelevant. But from the team perspective, it gives the team value if they ever want to sell out the team and get out of the sport or something like that. They basically have a nest egg to retire on or whatever they're going to do when they do that. So it does give the team value. And also for people that are buying teams just to make them valuable, it offers a value to them. So let's say you get in at $30 million now and NASCAR takes off again, you sell the team later for $120 million or something like that. So I mean, there are people out there who do that. Spire has been accused of doing that in the past, so we'll see how that plays out. But it seems like the charters are here to stay, much to the fans' chagrin, because we basically just want qualifying to count again. Of course, there are better ways of doing the charter, and I've gone over them before. This is not the time or place for that video. I might make a separate video on that later, just later sometime. But the other thing is, Steve Phelps says he sees charters as good for the sport. But more importantly, he sees in the future of NASCAR offering more charters. So instead of the 36 we currently have now, they might offer, 1 or 2 more to where we would get to 38. That is big news because we know 2311 wants to expand. We know Dale Earnhardt Jr. is chomping at the bit to get into the sport as well. So we could see more teams in the future. So that's big news all the way around. But looks like the charters are here to stay, and NASCAR is planning on, expanding them. Red Bull are poised to announce engine partnership deal with U.S. car giant Ford tomorrow. Ford sent the information to news agency ANSA without saying it was under embargo. ANSA published the story and then withdrew it shortly afterwards, according to the BBC and this tweet from Adam Stern. So there you go. The Ford engine team is going to apparently make the motors for Red Bull. Red Bull, currently on an expiring contract with Honda, has kept the Honda engine they have in production via their own stuff. So it looks like Ford is going to be their next engine partner over there at Red Bull. So big news. Another, I guess, American link to F1. Of course, the Andretti Autosport saga continues. They still have not gotten approval for their bid to have a new F1 team. But if you're a Ford fan, you now have a team to pull for in F1 in Red Bull with Max Verstappen and Checo. And, of course, the one that has sort of blown up and gotten a lot of press, a lot of attention, Christopher Bell is not allowed to race dirt, according to Christopher Bell. Let's see what he had to say about it.
Joe Gibbs has been extremely, extremely vocal about his, I don't want to use the word hatred, but it's pretty close to hatred towards dirt track racing, and just, he does not love dirt track racing or open wheel racing at all. And before me and Coy had a great relationship, Coy Gibbs, and I would always funnel my dirt track stuff through Coy, and Coy would, he loved it. He thought it was really good for me to do. And, he would kind of tell his dad that, that we talked about it, and he thought that it was fine for me to go do. So obviously Coy passed away in November, and I kind of lost that, that connection. And Joe was very vocal about me not dirt track racing. So
All right, so you see right there, he was funneling all of his dirt activities through Coy, and unfortunately, rest in peace, Coy. But when Coy was gone, Joe Gibbs put his foot back down again, and he doesn't want any of his drivers racing dirt. So I guess that was the end of that. Joe Gibbs Racing, JGR, joyless, grumpy racing. I guess I don't know. That's unfortunate because I think it's a bad decision by Joe Gibbs personally, because I think the guys that race on dirt have an added layer of car control that some of the other guys that come from pavement have a harder time learning. I'm not saying they can't learn it. Ross Chastain, obviously a pavement guy, has learned all kinds of car control. I mean, you can argue up and down if you want to. Yeah, he drives over aggressively, but he does have a heck of a lot of car control. He reminds me of a dirt driver, even though he's not a dirt driver. But you look at, the Kyle Larsons and the Christopher Bells of the world, they absolutely, even Tony Stewart back in the day, they absolutely had all kinds of car control, and it's because of their dirt background. I think this is kind of a mistake on Joe Gibbs' part, and also it's just kind of a mistake to have an unhappy driver that wants to race dirt, because when Christopher Bell's contract is up, he is going to be a really hot free agent, and let's say he, the rumors are that he might want to go over there and march over and drive the 4 car for Kevin Harvick. So I mean, if you're not sort of keeping your blue chip drivers happy, letting them race dirt and sort of do the things they want to do, it could be a mistake going forward. And I'm pretty sure Stewart-Haas would love to grab, and Ford would love to grab, a hot prospect like Christopher Bell if the determining factor is they will let him race on dirt. All right, that is all I've got for you on this particular one. If you like the content, feel free to subscribe down below. It helps out the channel a whole lot. And if you're already subscribed, I really appreciate you guys being subscribed as well. If you got a question, comment, or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section. I try to get to as many, if not all of them, when I can. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.